Hi, my name's Caleigh Sanchez, and today I'm going to be showing you how to flow. So I usually start with writing the name of the tournament and the round number in the top left corner, and then in the color which my opponents will be speaking in. So con is blue for me and pro is red, but it might be different for you. And so once I write their names, then I go on with their case if they're first speaker, and if we're first speaker, then because I'm second speaker in my team, I would just write my own case. But assuming that the other opponent is going to be first speaker, we go on with their case. So I write their framework, if they have any, their first contention, their subpoints, which I don't necessarily write their headers. I write like the facts that they provide. You can also write basically any data that they use to support their first contention, and you do that again with the second contention. You will continue to write what the subpoints are, and again with the third contention. And then if you're second speaker, I would continue to write our case, and you don't have to write it as in detail as you would write your opponents, because you should know it, but I just like to keep that on hand for when our opponents refute it. And then I go back up to my opponent's case, and since I'm second speaker, I'll usually will be using my time to write in this space how I'm going to refute their points, and I draw direct lines from each contention and subpoint so I can know exactly what I'm going to say. So usually for contentions, I just do a statement. I say this is wrong because, and then when I'm refuting subpoints, I'll draw a line directly to the evidence that I'm going to use. So I'll write like SK for squirrel killers and then whichever brief, and I'll do that throughout their entire case. And then I'll write what they're going to say about our case, and I'll be using direct arrows and lines to show what they're saying about each specific point. So at this point, it'll be time for summaries, and first our opponents are going to speak and give their summary. And how summaries work is usually they would do voters, and so I write down all of the main voters for their main voters for why they should win. And it's really important to keep track of your opponent's voters, even though you might not necessarily bring them up in your summary and final focus. You want to know what the judge may be thinking, and you can, do that in the hopes that what you say in your final focus and your summary is going to kind of be the opposite of that. So then my partner is first speaker, so I'll write down what she says for summary, and then it'll be my turn to start planning my final focus. And usually I'll bring framework back up, and I'll keep the same voters that my partner had, and I would just tie them into the framework. And I just kind of write down the same thing that my partner had in her summary, but I may change a few things if I think that we should be focusing on something else. So then it'll be our opponent's turn to do their final focus, and usually they will probably bring up the same voters that they had in their summary as well. And again, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I just keep track of it throughout the entire round. And that's how you flow.